This is take 5. I got something wrong with the disc, and I don't have any more memory cards to work with. I got to make this work somehow. I got to go to work today. I've been struggling for 50 minutes. It's almost 11 o'clock. I got to get this cut. I got to get this out of here. Went 2 wins and 3 losses last week. Not too good. We're now 4 wins, 6 losses total for the year. The Fish Saying Soup Simulator Contest. Thank you, Fish Saying, for all your hard work. And I had a thread deleted by the mods again. Email to support@pregame.com. I'm going to ask them why this keeps happening. Just tell me, say, we don't want your comments. Just tell me, we don't like your Marxist comments. We don't like your, socialism. We got guys posting about suicide, guys posting about Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump, you name it. But my posts keep getting deleted. So I put a link to a video that really explains feminism. Man, whoever the mod was this morning, watching live time, was gone in less than 30 seconds. The fastest I've ever seen somebody get jettisoned off the site. But I'm going to deal with it. But I sent the support, and they'll ignore me. But I'm going to try again, and I'm going to start calling. I'm going to start doing something. I'm going to look at this. I'm not going to go away. So if you're watching mods at pregame.com, I'm not going to go away. Just give me an explanation. Just say, STFU, you're out. Just say it. Okay, be a man about it. I'm going to talk to RJ Bell, too. I'm going to talk to anybody I can talk to. I'll send them a letter. I'm going to do something. Trust me. They got my ire up. And I'm not going to go away. They can just kick me off the site. And then I'll have to somehow contact the guys because I'm still in the contest. I'm in the soup contest, and I already spent my money. I'll make them give me the money back or something. So I'm not happy. Last week it was 2 wins, 3 losses. I should have won the Houston game, and they were meandering down to kick a field goal by 1 or 2 points at the very end. But D'Amico Ryans got outsmarted by Todd Bowles, who's been around forever. They'd stopped using his run game all game long, and then all of a sudden he peeled off that 18-yard run, and he scored. Looked pretty easy. Then, as soon as it happened, I knew what happened. I knew what was going on. They got the ball back, was starting with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, whatever it was, so they got the 2-minute timeout and all 3 of their timeouts. And Baker Mayfield played lights out. He played like a Super Bowl champion that game. I got to stop calling him a chowderhead because I might need him to give me some winners in the future. I mean, Tampa Bay's offense is now the team. It's no longer the defense. They used to be a defensive-minded team, and they had Warren Sapp, and they would come and go. Like I keep saying on other videos and other general information about the NFL, most teams cannot keep up a good defense year after year after year. It's too taxing. It's too hard. That's the hardest thing to keep up is a great defense. Why that is, I don't know. I just know that it is. It's been my observation in watching the football for 60 years. The Houston over Tampa, we lost that one. And the real backbreaker was the Jacksonville plus 3.5 in Cincinnati. And knocked out Joe Burrow in the first quarter. He's out with a turf toe, wherever the hell it is. He's out for 2 months. So I'm going to win my under bet with Cincinnati. Lo and behold, and Jake Browning had already threw 3 interceptions. But Jacksonville was so inept, and I forgot how bad they were. And it was 4th and 5, and they had some 30-yard BS penalty on Travis Hunter. And I watched the replay, and I thought, wow, what a way to lose a game. So we'll get to Cincinnati in a bit, but there's a thing called the false record that NFL teams can mask. And every baseball season, when I was a younger boy, I would see a baseball team, they would win their first 5 out of 6 games. It would be a false record. The next thing you know, they're playing 200 ball, and they're in last place, and they never recover. It's called false record. They just get the first couple punches in the fight, and they're winning. But over time, the talent comes out, the skill comes out, and you are what you are. The luck runs out. In other words, horseshoe falls out of their backside, and I'm being nice about it. I had a guy tell me, well, you got lucky with the New England game. I had New England. Well, yeah, but New England still had a minute 20 left to come back and kick a field goal, which Miami had not stopped them all game long. I think New England put it one time. The Miami defense is really terrible, except they did play well the other night. So I won my Buffalo money line bet, but I would not play the game with the points. I was afraid of this. I was afraid Miami would make a last stand, Achilles' last stand. And by God, they did. Miami could have won that game. They ran into the punter and did a couple other stupid things. That interception at the end there, that was the backbreaker when they were moving to tie the game. And once Buffalo did kick a field goal and kill everybody's under. So I'm glad they didn't play the over. I would have lost that one too. Anyway, Baker Mayfield on 4th and 10 runs for 15 yards, and then they score. I mean, and that linebacker, was he a first-round draft pick, this Hebrew guy on the Houston's defense, and he missed, and Baker Mayfield, he's not the fastest guy on the planet, but he triple juked him and got around him. The Jets, bad pick. That's on me. I have no excuse. I just thought they would do it, and they were no-show. Jets, just end the season. Jets, Just endure the suffering. They'll be looking to win 3 games this year. And the guy said, well, you got half an hour. Okay, you got a point loss with the Houston game, a point loss with the Jacksonville game, but you got half with Miami and half a point with the Philadelphia Kansas City. They said Kelsey. I haven't watched that game yet, but Kelsey dropped a sure thing, and well, that's part of the game. I mean, Philadelphia is not really impressed with their offense, but I won. Let's talk about this week. Game number 1: Minnesota Vikings hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. It's the backup bowl. There are 5 games that they've played since 2009, and it's a mixed match. I mean, Cincinnati's won the last 2. The home team has won every game. The injuries, when you look at the injuries, Cincinnati's only got 6 players on their side, but Minnesota's got like 12. So Minnesota's kind of banged up, but I like the coaching. I think McDonald's a better coach. I think Zach Taylor, I think he's come and gone, and he's hit a wall. Cincinnati, they opened up the checkbook at the wrong time. They should have opened the checkbook a couple years ago when they should have beat Kansas City that second time in a row, and that penalty. That one play cost them another trip back to the Super Bowl, and that kept Kansas City's run alive. That one play, think about this. That one play defined 2 teams. Since I could have opened up the checkbook back then, but they didn't, so they're doing it now. It's too late. So the resentment is there on the defensive and special teams. So if they're going to take a play off, they're auditioning for other teams where they're just mailing in and just collecting their money. And believe me, I know all about that. These stupid part-time jobs I got. This is the backup bum bowl. That's what I call this. Minnesota hosting Cincinnati +3. We're taking the Minnesota Vikings -3. This is not Jacksonville, even though Minnesota's banged up. This is not the Jacksonville coach. This is McConnell from Minnesota. He's a pretty good coach. He's pretty bright. He's one of the better of what they call the nerd coaches, the young movement that in the NFL, in my opinion, incorrectly made. The NFL is 32 owners. It's their playground. They make the rules. They hire the commissioner. They tell the commissioner what to do. If anybody doesn't understand it or doesn't like that, or I can't help you, go watch somebody else. Go watch your homeless lady cat videos, wherever you want to watch. I can't help you. Okay, the Bengals, in my not so humble opinion, okay, they had that false record of 2-0. Okay, they should have got beat by Cleveland in week 1. They were I watched. That's one of the 3 games I watched on this NFL Rewind I have. They were praising this Stetson, whatever his guy's name, this new kicker. Oh, I'm glad he got the job. And he misses the line up that hit the extra point. He missed it. Then it's a miss. They're justifying their previous comments how great this guy was. And then since Cleveland got in field goal range to win the game, and he missed the field goal, and it wasn't a long one either. I don't know what Stefanski's going to do. I mean, and they played well against the Ravens for like the first 45, 50 minutes, but there's 60 minutes in the game. Except this time the Ravens were in reverse. They did to Cleveland what they should have done to Buffalo in week 1, but they didn't. The Cincinnati Bengals got this false record of 2-0. They were 2 plays away from being 0-2. Okay, the Cleveland game we just talked about, any one of those extra points and field goals and a couple penalties. Joe Flacco played very well in week 1. I haven't watched week 2 yet for Joe Flacco, but the 2 interceptions, they were bottled balls that stayed in the air for 2 seconds. That's enough for even the most inept defender is going to get the interception. It happened to Joe Flacco twice, and one late in the game. Cincinnati was really, really lucky to win that game. Of course, we had Cleveland. We won that as one of our winners in week 1. But I think the Minnesota defense is better than the false record Bengals that are 2-0. They should be 0-2. Now, they're starting Carson Wentz. And again, in my not-so-humble opinion, this is an upgrade over that J.J. McCarthy. I think Carson Wentz wants to get back in the mainstream. If he's got anything left in the tank at all, he's going to perform well with this defense of Cincinnati. I mean, Carson Wentz, I'm expecting him to do very, very well. He's a great dinker and dunker, and he can scramble a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Carson Wentz really lights him up. Okay, pick number 2. We're taking the Pittsburgh Steelers over the New England Patriots. I know people keep saying you're a New England fan, blah, blah, blah. And I am, but you know what? When it comes to this, I want to pick winners. Pittsburgh's given up a lot of points his first 2 weeks, and let Justin Fields light them up for over 30 points, and the Jets should have won that game. They had a kickoff fumble. There was only 1 turnover in the game, I believe, and that cost the Jets the game, but they still covered by half a point. Pittsburgh quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he's light years ahead of this sophomore jinx, Drake May. I think I got the advantage with the quarterback right there. I know I love Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the Patriots, but to quote the late great Houston Oilers coach O.A., which I forgot what the O stands for, but it's Bum Phillips. I ain't ever seen a coach score a touchdown. So, and his Texas draw. And the Oilers, they were always like the second best team in the NFL, right behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. They couldn't get ahead of the Steelers no matter how hard they tried. And they were always the second best team in the NFL for a good stretch for years there. So the Steelers, okay, they got the highest paid defense in the NFL, and they're saying it's a record paying defense, and they're not performing too well, going back to the last couple of games of last year. But Tom was the most tenured coach now that they got rid of Bill Belichick of the Patriots. But give me the Steelers. They can't afford to fall 1-2. The Ravens, if the Ravens win, if they beat Detroit, they'll be 2-1. Cincinnati's got that false record of 2-0. So the Steelers, they can't afford to fall behind, and they really need this game. And this is a good chance for them to get a win over a team that's overrated. Coach Tomlin, he's got some tricks up his sleeve. I just hope he doesn't try to trip up the wide receiver or the kickoff or the punt return at the sideline like he did the Ravens that time. We're taking Houston at Jacksonville, and Houston is a dog again. Is that right? Texans +2. We'll take them. So I got the screen up here. I got the last 10 games. Houston's owned this team. They've won the last 8 out of 10. Jacksonville's got them twice in that 10-game span, and it was both at Jacksonville. So Houston got a push last year, the last time they played, a 3-point push. But Houston got them twice, barely, 24-20 and 23-20. Jacksonville covered with the 5.5, but they got to push the second time. So Jacksonville's actually covered the last 3 times, if you want to look at it that way. And then Houston got them covered in September 23, 37-17. He stomped them. A decisive victory. But Jacksonville gassed them in January 23. I think it was week 16 or week 17, 31-3. So. But before that, Houston has owned this team and won the previous 5, and they covered 4 out of 5. I think Houston's better. I think Stroud knows he's looking kind of shaky. This Jacksonville team, I think they're overrated. I think they're not very good. And Houston's clearly got the better defense. But whether they can get that offense going, D'Amico Ryan is a better coach than what Jacksonville has. So I'm going to take my chances with Houston. I mean, I'm gambling that the wounded animal concept. They both got the same number of injuries. The Houston offensive line has kind of regressed. The Bucs chased J.D. Stroud around almost the entire game. I just told you I only watched a few of the games on NFL Rewind, but this Tampa Bay Houston game, it was the hardest hitting game I've seen in a long time. I mean, they both put it all on the field. I was impressed with Houston's not willing to give up, and they were fighting hard. When they would sack each other's quarterback, the linemen would defend their man. Both sides fought very, very hard. It was a well-played game, in my opinion. It was one of the better games I've seen in a long time. I mean, you can hear the helmets through the TV screen. I mean, they were hitting hard. Next pick, we're taking the Denver Broncos plus a 2.5, and they're at San Diego. Chargers got them twice last year, 34-27 and 23-16, beaten by 7 points twice. The stats are almost identical, and I'm not going to waste your time reading them to you. That tells me that just 1 or 2 plays away, this could be a coin flip game. I like Justin Herbert for the Chargers. I think he's the real deal, and he's light years ahead, in my opinion, of this Bo Nix of the Broncos. And like I told you, I like betting against second-year quarterbacks. But this week I'm going to take him because I think Sean Payton is a better coach than Harbaugh, and that's leaps and bounds. People, God, will want to get in my face about this thing the other night. Oh, Harbaugh, he went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, Sean Payton's won a Super Bowl when he had the Saints. And in like 3 years in a row, they started 0-2 and 0-3. They still finished either 7-9 or 8 and whatever. I mean, they still did well, and then they made the push. Sean Payton is an excellent coach. I mean, he's underrated. The Broncos can't afford to fall 1-2. If they lose this game, that means the Chargers will be 3-0. You still got to worry about Kansas City. I mean, they're not dead yet. I mean, I know I went against them, and I told them on this channel that who says Kansas City can't go 0-2? I said, you watch. You heard it here first, folks. Kansas City will fall 0-2, and they did. They're still the Kansas City Chiefs. They still got Patrick Mahomes. As long as they got him, he can outmox and get him 2-3 games just on him. Every now and then a Super Bowl loser will fall really hard, like 6 wins or 5 wins. You know, it happened to the Raiders many, many years ago, and I think it happened to the Broncos too. They won that last Super Bowl. Not the Peyton Manning Super Bowl, but the last John Elway Super Bowl. The next year when John Elway retired, they had Brian Griese as the quarterback, and they lost their first 4 games, and they made a rally, and they finished, I believe they were 8-8. Lowest ranked offense in the NFL during those first 4 games. It was horrible, terrible. So give me Sean Payton, and he's angry at me. They should have beat the Colts. They should be 2-0. Pick number 5, we're going with the Dallas Cowboys -1. And this line went all over the place. It was opening up Chicago -2.5, then it was Chicago -1, then it was Pick'em, and Dallas -2.5, Dallas -1.5. Now I got the last 9 games going back to 2007. The home team has won every one of these games, and they have also covered the spread. Is that trend going to continue? Well, I'm going to say that Dallas is going to be the road team, is going to break this trend. Okay, road teams are still kicking the ass of the home teams. The favorites are beating out of the dogs. If I can find the time, I'll do resource videos. Like week 1 is 8 home teams won, 8 home teams lost, 8 favorites won, 8 dogs won. There were no pushes. There was no major upsets. And I'll have a separate category for home division dogs and blah, blah, blah. And week by week by week. And they shouldn't be very long videos. Only watch it for stats. And there will be no picks on it. I'm thinking about doing that, but I gotta find the time. Offshore opened up 2.5, and there was 1-3 that somebody grabbed. Okay, so somebody grabbed Dallas for 3 offshore. And he texted me the ticket. He screenshot and texted me the ticket. So I've seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can never remember a team this was 0-2 and looked so bad, like the Chicago Bears, and they're favored over a team that's won a game. The Cowboys had to go through hell to beat the Giants last week, but they did it. I think Dak Prescott looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in week 1, and I said so on the Monday night game that I had on a separate thing. I showed the screenshot that I had the Philadelphia money line. Dak Prescott saved the touchdown late in the second half, but doing the Roethlisberger arm tackle on that guy. Then Philadelphia's up by 12 or 13 points, and they have no chance. But he kept it a 1-score game. Losing effort, Dak Prescott got my player of the game. I mean, he kept the Cowboys in that game. Philadelphia's not a slouch, remember? They're Super Bowl champs, and they're a pretty good team. They got this beast on both those lines, offensive and defensive line. They got the biggest team in the NFL, the heaviest team in the NFL. But just off the top of your head, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Dak Prescott or Caleb Williams? Okay, Caleb Williams has not impressed me. I know he went to USC, my daughter's school. I know all that, but still, he's not impressed me at all. He looked good against the walking dead zombie sleep Vikings first half at Monday night game. I went to go lock the gates and I come back in Minnesota 27. Chicago. What happened? It was 17-6. They were getting ready to kick a field goal, go up 20-6. I thought, hold on, mate. I say, I'm going to go lock the gate. I'll be back in time. And then I had to make another stop, and then got a radio call, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't gone 15 minutes. Come back, and it's Minnesota 27. The Bears are 17. Whoa. Beast slapped by the Lions. They put a 50 burger on the next week. You would think Chicago would be ready for that, but they weren't. But Dallas has played, in my opinion, a lot better than Chicago. How could they be favored? What are they trying to tell us? It's a very fishy line. And with that much research, I decided, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys just on general principle. I'm using my vast years of experience, and I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to walk into Chicago and come out with a win. So that's that. Long live the NFL. God bless America. Long live America. Remember your country. Thank you. Stay tuned for the next video.